welcome to today's edition of Editorials, a broadcast from Canada. My name is Sandra Asante. Today on Editorial, we'll be looking at two similar things. We'll be looking at Ethiopia's minority fleeing to Sudan, as well as what Ethiopian exactly want from the Tigray war. So don't go anywhere. I'll be back after the break. Yeah, welcome back from the break. So we start off with the fleeing to Sudan, and the members dragged into a conflict north of their making. Members of the Ethiopia's Gemant ethnic group says their only choice was fleeing to Sudan, making another bleak turn into a widening war. Houses were burned and people killed by machetes. This is what the Mbemet Demos, the refugee, said, that who, like thousands of others, ran from their village last month. We couldn't even take bodies and bury them. Thousands have been killed since fighting erupted in November in Ethiopia's northernmost Tigray region, when Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed sent in troops to topple the Tigray People's Liberation Front, the region's ruling party, saying the move came in response to TPLF claims of the attack on army camps. But the violence has since sacked in other groups in bitter battles over land and had spread from Tigray into Ethiopia's neighboring Amhara region, homeland of both Amhara people and the ethnic minority Kitman. Amhara fighters supported Abiy's forces in an attempt to settle a decade-long dispute over territory they claim was seized by the TPLF during its nearly 3 decades rule before Abiy took power in 2018. The Kitman have long chafed under the cultural and economic influences of the dominant Amhara people, and in recent years have called for self-rule. A 2017 referendum on the question of creating a Kitman autonomous zone ended in rancor, where the resulting territorial disputes sparkling increasingly frequent clashes between the two groups. The Amhara fighters, backed by the government, wanted us off our land. 20-year-old Amibet said they are killing us because we are an ethnic minority. But Amhara regional spokesperson Gizachao Mulene denied that members of the Getmant ethnic group were being targeted. Amhara leader says the Getmant's quest for self-rule have largely been stoked by Tigrayan forces who they alleged are fighting a proxy war by backing their group. Gestacho claims those refugees were pro-terrorist TPLF and they were created by TPLF for the purpose of distracting Ethiopian Amhara region. We know it's not true. That's like a abysmal claim, but the United Nations estimates about 200,000 people have been displaced from their homes in Amhara, where violence is driving a wedge deeper between the ethnic groups. The Amharas wanted us to pick their side in the conflict against the Tigrayans, said refugee Balatala Koshi, but we refused to take sides, so they fought us. Clashes between the Amhara and the Getmant forced thousands to flee in April this year, according to the UN humanitarian agency. Kitman campaigners say their historic homeland includes villages bordering Sudan, but that has also led to accusations the Kitman have received support from Sudan, which has territorial issues with Ethiopia, mostly in areas located near the Amhara region. Relations between Khartoum and Addis Ababa have also soared over the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam on the Blue Nile, which downstreams Egypt and Sudan fears threatens the water they depend on. For civilians such as Mbemet stuck in the middle, the violence left her with no option but to leave. She is part of a stream over some 3,000 Kitman refugees who have crossed into Sudan in recent weeks, Sudanese officials said. We are expecting more Kitmans to arrive, as well as other ethnicities, said Mohammed Abdul Karim from Sudan's Refugee Commission. Sudan already hosts more than 60,000 refugees from Ethiopia, according to the UN, putting heavy pressure on a country already struggling with its own acute economic crisis. Amebet found shelter in Sudanese border town Basinga, cramped inside a school converted into a makeshift camp, now a temporary home for 1,000 refugees. There are basic food supplies, but she is sleeping under plastic sheeting that offers little shelter from either sweltering heat or heavy rains. We are safe here, at least, she stated. Refugees said they are victims of long-running ethnic strife. Tensions had already been rising for years, said Aman Farada, a 26-year-old refugee from Ethiopia's northern city of Gwanda. Initially, it was inter-ethnic dispute, but now it's the government fighting us. Kasau Abayi said the Amhara used the Tigray conflict as an excuse to expand their control over the land. They see the entire area as theirs, so they want neither us, Kwamant, nor the Tigrayans here, said the 50-year-old builder. The UN says the conflict has driven 400,000 people into famine-like conditions. Fighting still continues. Kemant refugees said they see little chance of returning to Ethiopia anytime soon. We want to go back, said Amebet. How can we return when this government is still in place? Away from that, we now look at the conflict in Tigray, what Ethiopia needs from this civil war. So as Ethiopian civil war spreads out of Tigray, the government of Africa's second most populous nation is under increasing threat. The northern region's leaders are forming alliance with groups including the Forces Army from the Oromo, the country's biggest ethnic group. An anonymous historical sign for Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. The Tigray People's Liberation Front overthrew the communist dead regime in 1991 and dominated Ethiopian politics for the next 27 years. This wasn't what Abiy envisaged when he sent his army into Tigray 10 months ago. He promised a swift conflict in retaliation for an assault on an army base, but TPLF has since regained control of the province and its forces are pushing into neighboring Amhara and Afar. While their end game is unclear, a repeat of the 1991 seems unlikely. They want a transitional government in Addis Ababa, said Colonel Vasi, an analyst of the Erosia Group. We are a long way off saying this is a 1990s redux. What is clear is that Abiy's campaign to centralize power in the capital is in tatters, with many regions seeking more devolution. The conflict threatens the integrity of the state, according to a key Western diplomat who asked not to be identified, citing the sensitivity of the matter. Thank you for watching today's editorial. My name is Sandra Asante. Do have a beautiful day. I'll see you some other time.